So hit the brakes.
Yep.
SLS technology preview.
Yes.
Alright.
Alright, so what we're showing here is an Android-based infotainment system. So on normal Mercedes cars, you've probably seen this before. This is what we call our command system. This is our standard telematics system that exists pretty much on all of the high-end vehicles. You've got your navigation, different types of audio, DVD, video, and Bluetooth telephony. For the SLS, we really wanted to differentiate the car a little bit more, take it a step further. So what we did was we created something that we're calling the AMG Performance Media Package.
Okay.
So what you see here is the standard AMG drive unit. Now normally this controls some of the AMG specific features. So here you've got your driving profiles from Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, and Manual. Here is your stability control, and then this is the high-speed wing for the SLS.
Okay.
This button is normally used to actually just recall some of your predefined settings. So for example, if I always want to load up in Sport Plus and set my my stability.
Oh, so that's just the memory switch.
Exactly.
Okay.
But what we've done on all of the performance media equipped cars is give this some extra functionality. So when I press this AMG button, we switch to the performance media system. Now this is an Android-based system running on Android 2.1. It sits alongside the command system, so it is sort of fully enclosed in its own right, but it does sit there alongside command. Now one of the things that we wanted to do here was make the system a little bit more interesting, a little bit flashier, have some cool things, but also keep the UI and user experience very consistent for command owners so that they can jump right into the system and have it be very intuitive. So with that said, we've got sort of a very basic layout, very similar to what you might be used to on command, where you've got sort of a top level menu, a lower menu, and then...
That's a power gauge, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Exactly, and so we'll go into this a little bit more, but so what we've got here is really two things. We've got the performance side and then the media connectivity and apps features.
Oh, wow.
So on the performance side, we've got two things. We've got data and we've got race. Now data is really your real-time data. This is stuff that you'd be looking at you know, while you're driving, just taking at a quick glance. Some interesting things for you to just be aware of that may not be available in the normal instrument cluster. So here, for example, we've got temperature, we've got your oil temperature, your transmission temperature, and your coolant temperature. So really great to see at a glance at any given time. Then we've also got power. Now this is sort of more of a fun feature, but definitely useful to look at.
Like in the Bugatti.
Exactly, yeah. And so here, you know, if you were to, on any of these screens, you can always go full screen, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but so now if you were to just be driving along, if you hit the gas here, you'll see that the car is making power, and as soon as you gas it, it's going to respond.
Responds right away.
Yep. And then similarly with tires now. Tires aren't showing right now since the car is parked, but once the tire pressure system is activated, this will be available too. So here you'd be able to see, of course, if one of your pressures was higher or lower, if they're getting too high while you're at the track or something like that. And then, so those are really the real-time data features. We've also got these race features. Now, as you can see, these are generally designed to be used off-road
only
or on
track.
racetracks. Exactly. So on the G meter side, we've got very similar to the other screen. Here we've got a full-on G meter. Now this is very accurate. It uses the vehicle's stability control system to actually get you very, very accurate readings up to 2 Gs. So it is a high-level reader, not something that you would normally just put into your car or use with your phone.
Yeah, it's not like the Dynalicious app.
Exactly, but it takes it really just another step above because you're actually using the vehicle's own telemetry data and everything here. So here again, you've got throttle, you've got brake. Now
so if you give it like a little bit, the throttle meter will go up,
And if you were actually driving, this little red dot would be moving around.
Yeah, it'd be all around.
And you'd also get sort of a ghost image.
Oh, and the brake pedal. Okay,
yeah,
there you go.
Exactly, and so you get to see all that. You get to see the max Gs you experience on any given axis. Now, if you turn the steering wheel a little bit, okay, and maybe turn it back as well. One of the cool things that we have on all of the race features is sort of a history function. So you've you've done your drive, maybe you were just on a skid pad or something like that. Now you come back to the pits, put the car in park. You can see history. You can reset your max. So here, if you had numbers or a ghost screen, you'd be able to remove those. But if we take a look at the history, we can actually visualize and analyze all the history that we have.
Oh, wow.
So here you can see we've got the lateral and axial G's that we've experienced. The cars are parked, so we haven't really seen anything. But you'd also be able to see the speed that you were moving and the steering wheel angle. So now as I rotate this command controller, you can see that we're moving.
You can see everything change.
We're moving back in time, and here what we'll find is we had modified the steering angle when I had asked you to rotate the steering wheel.
I see.
So, you know, if
each bar represents something.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow.
So they're all color-coded. Nice way to visualize. So if you're there modifying, or rather driving pretty hard, experiencing some G's, you can see, you know, what was my steering angle when I was doing that. And of course, you know, maybe you'll find something that's really interesting, something that stands out. So you can take a screenshot, save the screenshot, and it gets saved to a flash drive that just sits in the glove box over here.
Oh, okay.
So we've just got a little flash drive right here.
Yeah.
That sits in the glove box. You can take it with you, and a lot of uses for that. We can get into those a little bit as well. The next feature we have is a track feature. Now here, this is a track that we actually just recorded at Quill Lodge on Friday. But essentially, this is a feature that's designed to be used for hardcore racers, guys who are going to the track very, very often. And these, you know, you may be going to Laguna Seca, you may be going to different tracks. Now, a lot of these tracks have their track information available, so you can actually load up GPS information or GPX data, like that you would normally see on Google Earth or something. And if that data is available, you can actually import it right into the system from that same flash.
So basically you just import a track data and it will have it right
exactly there. So it's right there, and then since the car is obviously connected via GPS, it will know when you're at that given track as well.
So it just pops up.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, but you know, if there isn't data available for a given track, or you want to record your own, you can do that as well. So you'd be able to record it. It uses the vehicle's GPS system. It uses dead reckoning, wheel speed, and you know, a lot of complex systems to give you a very, very accurate representation of a track. Now, while you're recording the track, you can create sectors, and once you've closed the loop, it will automatically record that as a track. Once you have a track recorded, you can start driving it.
So you can make a track anywhere.
You can make a track anywhere.
And it has all of them in its GPS, and you can make a track on any.
Exactly.
Wow.
So you can import tracks from anywhere. You can record your own tracks, and you can also export those tracks, put them on a flash drive, and upload them for someone else.
And you can give them to other drivers.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's so cool.
And so when you're driving, you know, once you're on a track, you can see this red dot here. If we're on the track, this happens to be our first sector point. Since we only set one, but you'd see another larger dot that would be your vehicle. And as you're driving along this track, this is sort of like your main screen for the application. As you're driving along the track, you'd see your vehicle moving on the track. And then you'd also see sort of your best time, your lap time, and deltas.
So it's really just like Forza.
Yeah, it's designed to be
That's
sort
incredible.
of a real racetrack application, and you can be comparing on the fly while you're moving. So, you know, this could be lap 5, your delta, and your comparisons. And this does calculations on the fly to see if you're better or worse. So if you're in the red or if you're in the green, and it would be showing that for any given sector.
Yeah.
But, you know, so that's your real-time screen. Now, if you decide that you're done with your hot laps, you come back to the pits, and you actually want to do some more analysis, we've got a couple of different ways to analyze this. The first one is, of course, you can import data from previous races. You can export data from the race you just had, take that to your computer, analyze it there if you want. But you also have a couple of different ways to analyze on the system. We've got something called single lap here. This is very similar to what you saw on the G-meter screen with the data visualization. So you can actually look at a number of different things. This includes how hard you were on the accelerator, on the brakes, steering angle, G's, speed. Basically, all the telemetry data that you want is available right there. You can go through, rotate through the controller, see where you were on the track, how that compares. And then there's a matrix view where you can just compare a whole bunch all of this data at once, sort of in a chart view against multiple laps. Now we don't have any data here since we haven't been driving, unfortunately, so I can't show you that. But it's definitely one of the coolest features. So it gives you a really nice way to visualize while you're on the track, and then to take it away.
And then try and fix whatever you did wrong.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
This is insane. This is awesome.
So what normally you would need, you know, extra hardware for, a separate laptop for, you can just do right here.
Wow.
And then of course you've got some fun features. You've got a 0 to 100 km/h timer, and also a quarter-mile timer, and these will just move up linearly. And so this is sort of like encompasses everything we see that any performance-oriented driver would really want in the car. And so not only can you do everything in the car, but then you can take it away and do more outside of the car. So you can do the screenshots, you can export all your data, import all your data, so on and so forth. We've also got some very cool features as far as the integration with the car. So like I had said, we have these different driving profiles, and as I adjust these, you can see the system is obviously completely integrated.
Yeah.
But you can also set predefined profiles here. So for example, I might set this to manual mode, set this to sport, and I can either hit activate here and it's going to set everything for me, or I can long press on this AMG button and it's also going to set everything for me.
So that would just be your presets.
Exactly. And so I can set these presets however I want, you know, in a nice visual way, and then load them back up at any given time.
Cool.
And we've also got this race start feature where it's basically launch control, very similar to other cars, except here we've automated it, made it a little bit easier. Of course, doors are open, cars in park. So
press the brake pedal.
Yeah,
so it'll only get to like here. And
exactly.
Then,
So you'd be able to, but you would be able to press the brake pedal, hit race start, and then whenever you're ready to go, it would launch for you. So that would make
it would rev it up as soon as you do, and it wouldn't release the brakes until you. So it power brakes for you, basically.
No, so while you're holding the brake, it would actually just make it a little bit easier in terms of normally you'd have to adjust your
traction and everything.
System, move into race mode. And
I see. So it just optimizes the settings for a launch. Oh wow, that's cool.
Exactly. So it makes it a little bit easier to jump into that. So, you know, we had these race features, we thought they were very interesting, but we wanted to take it a step further. And so what we did was we made the car internet connected. So we've got a Wi-Fi hotspot in the car. So here you can bring your own laptop. You can see here that we've got pretty good connectivity for an EVOA connection. We use AutoNet in the US. They're sort of carrier agnostic solution for internet in the car. And so we have an Android-based web browser. This is running a WebKit-based browser, very similar to you know, what you might use on your Android phones as far as how it loads web pages, everything like that. Here we're loading the Mercedes website,
AMG.com.
Yep. And this is all loading on the fly. Now this has been optimized for, you know, use in a vehicle. So we have this command controller as a joystick controller. And I can move this around. Now we've got some very cool concepts here as far as making this a little bit easier to use. Something we call directional scrolling, where my last input will actually choose the direction of the scrolling on the controller. We've got tabs here. We've got the ability to save favorites and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at.
But you know, this is only something that's available while the vehicle is in park. So
I was about to ask that.
Yeah,
that's good. So you have full internet connectivity while you're in park.
Full internet connectivity while you're in park. Now the internet connectivity is always available. It's just the ability to use a browser. So we did want to make things that you can use while the vehicle's not in park. So one example of that, well, maybe taking it a step further, we do have Android apps available, so anything that's available on your Android phone you can pretty much install on this car. So a good example of that is really, you know, we've got an app like eBay here.
Buy and sell from eBay on your SLS.
Yeah, and so, you know, if you can start using this, maybe you're just sitting around like here, we're just sitting around.
I want some rims for my SLS.
Yeah, and so you can do a search for SLS. I'm just going to move up here, do a quick search. And you know, you can see this is a fully, there's one for sale with only 3,000 miles.
Let's buy it now.
182,000.
Oh, bargain.
Someone just got some free advertisement there.
Awesome, there you go.
But you know, very similar to what you've seen on your Android phones
That
or
is
your
awesome.
iPhone or anything like that. Now, if you hit the brake, I'll show you sort of what happens when we move this out of park. You can see here that we've disabled it while driving. This was a huge concern, so we really wanted to make apps available for users, but we also wanted to make sure that we can keep a safe user experience. So that's what happens actually as soon as we move the vehicle out of park. Now, one thing to highlight there is that the app is still running. So if you have like a music app or something like that, you'll still be able to continue listening to music. You just can't interact with it.
Okay.
But we also wanted to take that a step further. There's definitely use cases where you'd want to be able to use an app while driving. So in the simpler case for third-party apps, we've got apps like Stitcher Radio. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. They do podcast radio, similar to Pandora, Last.fm, stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if this is like Pandora.
Not sure how we've got onto this. Okay, maybe we'll get to some of their picks, and I think you can see here that we may already be listening to something. But here again, very similar to what you're seeing on your Android or iPhone. This is actually the app right out of the market.
Wow.
And here we're loading up another one. Now you can see immediately there's a couple of issues with running apps in the car. If we were driving at night, we'd see a white background, we'd see small text. It may not be useful. So again, that's really why we want to lock things out. But what we've done is we've created something called a drive mode interface, where we push our own interface to the user, and if applications decide that they want to take advantage of it, they can do so. So if you maybe hit the brake here.
Okay. All right.
Okay, cool.
Is there?
Yeah, so we can just show one last thing.
I'll be right there. Yep, sure.
Okay, so if you hit the brakes right here.
Yep.
Here we can go right into drive. And here, instead of getting locked out completely, we've got some...
and I like how it turns it to black too, so if you're driving at night...
Yeah, and so we enforce our own user interface here with limited functionality, but the ability to, still interact with the app. Now, this is a complete third-party Android app, but we have it running on our system, and you can still use it while driving.
Wow.
So that's really one of the things that we're pushing here, is that not only are we bringing performance apps to the car, we're bringing third-party Android apps to the car, and we're making those apps available for use while driving if they choose to use our drive mode interface. Now, of course, we'll have our own first-party apps, and maybe if you have more time, we can go through some of our other apps like Google Local Search a little bit later.
Okay.
Very cool app, but yeah, I'll let you get to your test drive.
All right.
And, yeah, we'll see you again sometime.
Thank you very much.